Hello and welcome to Head and Shoulders, where we cover athletes, performances, and otherwise that are head and shoulders above the rest. And today we have a very interesting breakdown of the men's 200-meter dash field potentials that will make it to the finals. Now, of course, I can't predict 100% the future, but we got a good indicator about who will be there. The past is the best indicator of the future, not the only one, but the best one. So here's our field. We got Noah Lyles. He's over here, right here, smack dab in the center left. We got Kenny Benerick, which is on the left of him in the blue. Then we have to the right of Lyles, Arian Knighton. That's our youth. He's 17 years old, got the U20 world record. Man, he is blazing. Then on the far left with his hand for Texas Tech when he was running for them, representing Team Nigeria. The first three were USA. Here's Team Nigeria. That's Divine Oduduru. We're going to cover him. I think he has a potential here, a good potential. Then on the right of Knighton. Oh, that was a mess up. We're not covering Talu today. We're covering the men's 200. So anyway, with that being said, to the right of him, representing Liberia. His parents were born there. He was born here in the U.S., but he decided he wanted to represent Liberia. That's Joseph Fambule. So Fambule. Then to the right of him, the guy, he shows up. He's been through some issues over the last few years since Rio, but he's looking like he's showing up this year. Andre de Grasse, representing Canada. All right, before we get into today's content, be sure to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe, because we are about to get real. We're looking for 10,000 subscribers before the end of October, and we're going to be covering a whole bunch of sports. But right now, we're covering track and field athletics. Let's go. So here's the rankings list right here on world athletics for the men's 200. Obviously, Noah Lyles, he's the world leading time at 1974. That is his season best. Benerick got the second best time. Then is Arian Knighton ranked number 4. So he's the third best runner that is competing at Tokyo. Oduduru, fourth best runner competing. De Grasse, fifth best runner there. Fambule, there we go. We see him down here. And then we got to go a little bit further down. I would like to do a special mention first here of Aaron Brown, all right, of Canada. So here's Aaron Brown of Canada. Now, here's the special case of Mr. Brown. He has won the championships at the Canadian Olympic trials and national championships year after year. He beats Andre de Grasse, but he cannot show up at the international stage. And now, for the people that are here, the USA versus Jamaica people that come here that want to down talk the women's performances, but they can't back it up on the men's side, they will always say that if this were the case, they were like, they can't reproduce the times. No, it's just sometimes some people just don't perform as well place-wise. Maybe their time is good, but their place is not as good on a bigger stage. Here's an example. I think I just went over it. Now, hopefully he can get this together. Wait a minute, that's his progression. Honors, right here. Now let's go down here to the national championships right here. First. You see it in the 200. You see it in the 100 at the national championships. Man, this guy is a dog. Man, he knows how to perform at the Canadian trials, whether it's the trials for the world championships or the trials for the Olympic championships now, or the Olympic games. Now, when it comes here for the Olympics, he's got a third on the relay back in Rio. When it comes to the world championships in the 200, the best he's placed is 6th. In the 100, the best he's placed is 8th. Now, he's done some things on the relay. He's got double bronze for the relays here at the world championships. That's just the honorable mention, because he on paper will look like he could perform better in the 100 or the 200 than de Grasse, but for some reason, and I have read up on him and followed him, that he speaks to a psychiatrist because he has some, you got to realize that these athletes aren't just regular people, but then they have a lot more pressure on them. They're thinking about very similar things, but more pressure. So he had to do that because he lacks a little bit of confidence himself. So that's unfortunate with him. If he can get it together mentally, if he can get his confidence together, he would perform a lot better because on paper, he looks very good. So that's what I want to mention there. Now let's go into this field. We're going to break down the athletes one by one on this field. Let me get up my images for you all right here. We're going to start with that image did not pop up correctly. We're going to start with Noah Lyles. All right. We're going to start with the man, the myth, the soon to be legend, the guy that is nearly undefeated in all of his 200-meter races. I think he only lost to Norman one time. But aside from that, we're about to go over his list right now of his performances right here, of his honors. This guy, I mean, he brings the entertainment right here. Now look at this. First. Look all the way down the list in these diamond leagues. Like this guy knows how to win. He is a winner. Second place on the relays, so on and so forth. He usually loses most likely in his off event, but in the 200, he's right there. Now, the thing that I got to say about Noah Lyles, this is his path to win. If Lyles wants to win, he has to work on making sure he stays relaxed. He said it himself when he was going through the rounds when Knighton beat him twice in those qualifying rounds, that he said, hey, because his season he wasn't running as fast this season, but he's still winning races, right? So he had to come through and he had to relax. And that is one of the things from a coaching perspective that I would tell my athletes, and from an athletic perspective that I tell myself or anybody out there that's listening to it, what we can learn here, right? Relax. Because when he was running, pressuring himself too much, he ran more tight than he normally would. He was worrying too much, but when he relaxed, he did a normal race. He got out harder. That's what he's going to have to do. And then, boom, he knows how to turn it on at the last 50 or 60 meters. He knows how to close at the end of these races. That is what he does pretty consistently. The thing is that, I mean, and that's an entertainment factor. A lot of people are like, hey, he doesn't have a good start or whatever like that. But if you really think about it, if you see somebody just flat out blow out people all the time, then for some people, it will get boring. It's like it's predictable or anything like that. But if you see a little bit of struggle there, it does there. So from an entertainment perspective, for us, the audience, Noah Lyles, he has the entertainment factor. But for an athletic and coach perspective, he needs to get out a little bit harder. He has to have somebody to key off of on the outside of him. If he has that person to key off of that is a good starter and he can be close or ahead of them out of the curve, he's won the race right there, because he consistently closes in that last 50 to 60 meters. When he comes in that home straightaway, he sees that finish line and he's like freaking a homing missile right on it. It is hard to beat him when it's there. Now, he is the world champion right now in the 200-meter dash. Let's look at his personal best, which would be a 19.5, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, into a slight headwind back in 2019. So he's at a 1974 this season. He can pull off a pretty decent time. And when we look at the past times, if you run a 19.8 something, especially 19.8 mid, you basically have a gold medal if you take out the likes of Usain Bolt or even a Michael Johnson. If you take out those 2 times, which is, I mean, you really can't take them out. But I'm just saying, on a regular year, that's what happens. So let's look down on the list. Who are we coming to next? Oh, yeah, we coming to Benerick. And let me pull up his image right here for you guys. We're going to see Benerick and Grasse in here because I didn't edit that part out. But yeah, we got Benerick here. And you know what? He's a decent starter. He's actually a pretty good starter. If he doesn't get a good start, we saw what happened to him. He runs a pretty focused race. He needs to stay relaxed as well. There's not really much for me to say about Benerick. He's still got plenty of time ahead of him. He's pretty young right there. So I mean, he's only 1 year. He's about a year younger than Lyles. But for him, that's what he has to work on, just going through his own motions, because he actually is a pretty decent overall person. He doesn't have the closing speed. So what he needs to do, if he wants to win, he has to be in front of Lyles, because Lyles is going to move with that last 50 or 60 meters to go. But Benerick, he has to be in front of him. He can maintain a little bit, but he doesn't have that pure out speed endurance to last that last part of the race. He doesn't die out. He just doesn't close. There's a difference. Some people die out at the last 30 or so meters. He doesn't necessarily die. He just maintains. And that's his advantage if he can get out ahead of a Noah Lyles. So with that being said, guys, smash the like buttons if you've lasted this far into the video, and definitely show your support here by subscribing. We need about 10,000 subscribers, and let's go ahead. We're going to cover our next athlete, which is Aaron Knighton. Let's look at Knighton here. He is a 17-year-old right now, competing against all of these athletes. Me personally, I would be happy with him. I would be ecstatic with him just getting a medal. But the fact that he threw down what he's thrown down, what is it, a 19 before I click this, 1987 or 1984. Yep, 1984. The world under 20 record. So this is very crazy. And he's got the U18 best as well. So I mean, he's got two of them, because that means he's got plenty of time ahead of him. I would be ecstatic with that. But if we want to give him a real estimation, if we go by the USA Championships here, I would say what he needs to do is just run his race. I don't have much to say with him, because he could still pretty much try to improve his form. I think he'll have to bulk up a little bit more and just get stronger, because looking at him, he looks pretty decent in his races. Like I said, I don't got much to say about him. And given his age, I'm not expecting he can still win. That's what I'll say. He can still win, showing what he did in the prelims and the semis. He can win Tokyo. That's the thing, that he's a real big threat to the rest of the field. And he's right there up with him. I mean, Benerick has run a 1978, which is his PR and his season best this year. And I mean, he could come away with that. But the problem is going to come here. I think he's not in the running to actually win this time because of the other athletes in the field. There is a chance. I would give him about a 40% chance of winning. What do you guys think about this? This is going to be this is my hardest one to analyze right here, because he just doesn't have the history that I could determine here. He's done some amazing things right now. And so I would be happy that he even makes the final, and that if he gets a medal, I would be happy. I think it's going to be difficult for him even to get a medal. I saw at the USA Championships, if Noah Lyles gets it right and gets his mind focused, you get Benerick in the same race, and then you get the other athletes, and I'll save that for a little bit later. But what do you all think about Aaron Knight? What do you think his placing potential is? Because I love to hear it from you guys. So let's move on to the next athlete in the men's 200-meter field. And this one, Odudoro, Divine Odudoro for Nigeria. He's the NCAA 100 and 200 meter 2019 champion. And that's not a small feat, by the way. And he's the 2018 200 meter champion. He has steadily improved. They got a meme around him that if you search back when he went to the World Youth or something like that in, what is that, 2013, I think, or whatever it was. They got a meme around him on the internet. I didn't really know about it until I started doing more background for this, the prep for this video. But hey, he's got a 1973 PR and a 1988 season's best so far. He's in the running to be in the mix. And I think because he ran that back in April, he's got it there. A lot of the athletes, they can run their times early, and then later on, they just relax up, or they go through their training phases. They got their times out, whatever it is, and then they prepare for the championships. And because he's made it to the to Rio, because he knows how to run an NCAA circuit, the collegiate circuit, I am confident that he's going to have it together to run that or better at the Tokyo Games. So let's look at his right here, the U20 championships. So that wasn't back in 2013 or 2014. So I was correct on that. So when he went and he represented Team Nigeria, they interviewed him as a youngster, and he said some funny things. So look that up. But as far as that, looking at his results thus far, he ran that 1988. That was in Florida. Everybody keeps saying a fast track, fast track, fast track. But after I analyzed both the men and the women, I don't know if there is a significant thing about, hey, fast track does that big of a difference, because I don't think a fast track is going to take a 20.46 down to a 1988. That's just, if you think that, you smoke it. If you think it's going to take out 0.6 of a second, over half a second off of that, you're smoking. There are different things and factors in there, like the wind, the heat, and everything else. This was also in Florida. So with that being said, let's just consider that for a second. Time of day, jet lag, everything else like that depends on where he's training. And so many other factors other than the track. And then that gets accredited instead of these athletes working hard. So with that being said, Aduduru has a good chance. This is what he needs to do, though. This is what he needs to do. Based on what I've seen from him, he's a very similar profile to Benerick. He doesn't have that monster finish like a Noah Lyles. Lyles got that over most of the field where he can just turn that on and he can finish. What Aduduru needs to do is he needs to get a good start. He needs to be, I think I'm a little bit more confident in him than Benerick as far as where he finishes up. He has a little bit stronger finish there. If he can get a good start and a jump on Noah Lyles, he got to be on the inside. Because I think if he gets on the outside of Lyles, what's going to happen is Lyles can key off of him as a decent starter, I wouldn't say a fast, quote unquote, starter in the 200, but he's a decent starter where if he's ahead of him, if he got somebody on the outside that's decent or fast, then that allows Lyles to gauge himself on the rest of the field. He needs to be on the inside of Lyles so that he can get the jump on him. By the time they come into the home straightaway, he can prepare to hold off and slightly try to push forward to hold himself there. And I think he's one of the biggest contenders to the gold medal right now. Now, you all might disagree, but this might be Nigeria's chance to get a gold medal in the 200 at the Olympics. And I think Aduduru has the biggest chance. And if not this year, then the way he showed form back in 2019 and where he's looking to show form most likely next year, if we're projecting it, then if not this year, then maybe next year that he has a chance to do that. But hey, what do you guys think? Do you agree or disagree with what I said about Aduduru? Now let's move on to our next person, which is Fambule. And he's representing Liberia. So, oh, wait a minute. Now I got to read about this. Eligibility. USA until June 13, 2021. Eligible to represent Liberia in national representative competitions. Oh, okay. So from June 14th, 2021. So he did do that. So he applied through his parents, freaking citizenship or their birthplace, even though he was born here in the United States. So with that being said, Fambule, I don't think he has a chance to actually win the gold. I don't think that's possible for him to win the gold. Now, for him to get a medal, now that is a little bit different. Now I'm trying to wait for this image to load up for you guys. All right, here's our image. That took a longer than I liked, but Fambule, he's got a horrible start. He's out there. Everybody else moves. It's like he didn't even take a step or something like that. I just wonder. I'm like, man, this guy, he's like one of those guys. He closes like a train, though. He is quick. 1991. I don't think like he closes like a rocket ship. I'm telling you, this guy closes like a train. He's very big. And so when you see him next to other athletes, especially the collegiate ones, being probably more like Lard. Look at Lard next to him on the left, and look at him, and just the muscles, the strength, and the traps, and everything like that. You look at him; he's looking like he's on a football field out there. Actually, a lot of people are looking at him like, "Hey, why don't you go to the NFL?" That type of thing, right? So, as far as Fambule is concerned, he's got to get on his start, but that's going to be very hard to work on in a very short amount of time. So the thing that he can do is, I don't think he has to key off at anybody, because he just kind of is in his own world, right? But if he can get somebody on his outside that is a slower starter, like a Lyle, right? Lyles would have a slower start for him so that he could key off of him. And if he keeps up with Lyles, he's closing like a freight train. So he's one of the fast finishers, but he also just takes off so slow. So maybe that just gives him the advantage to finish fast. And he comes up behind people, seeing his races over and over and over again like that. He just does not have it there. Now, I can see him getting maybe a minor medal, maybe. With the athletes that are ahead of him on that list that I was just covering, I don't even think that he may be able to get a medal, because you got Knighton. But I mean, the question mark is with Knighton, will he have it in his legs after being running? Now, he did go pro so young now, but will he have it in his legs to actually go through? And sometimes we get teenagers at these Olympics and they don't necessarily medal. I would still like to see him medal. But if that's the case, I don't know if it's possible for him to actually to cap that off. But based on his history here and what he's run consistently, I mean, he's a 19 high or 19 low or a 20-point guy. So, I mean, he is able to produce quick times. He's able to produce quick times. And with that being said, I mean, it can't be working that far against him. So let's go to our last athlete that's on that list, which I am surprised. Oh, yeah. I got to bring up that other image earlier of the Grasse and Bednarik. So now we're covering the Grasse, which is on the right. So Andre de Grasse. I mean, a lot of people were building him up after he got that tie for bronze before, after he almost beat Usain Bolt, so many other things with de Grasse and everything. And he's gone through his struggles after Rio in particular. Now he looks like he's coming into form, back into form, looking pretty good as far as this year. Now, on paper, his times might not look like it'll place him that high here. And then if you look at his 100, it's even further down the list. Now, this puts him right up there in the list. He's the fifth fastest in the world this year. Now, after seeing that Diamond League race that just happened, or the Monaco race that just happened, and he beat Bednarik, I am confident that de Grasse, he knows how to put it together at the international level championships. That's the difference between him and Aaron Brown. Aaron Brown knows how to put it together for the Canadian championships. And this is why I tell people, somebody could peak at their own country's championships and they may not even be the person that wins. I mean, Johan Blake beat Usain Bolt multiple times at the Jamaican championships, and then what happened? Gold at the Olympics, down the list. So we can't count out Andre de Grasse. He is one of I would say one of the highlight athletes here now that he's coming back into form, and somebody that can challenge Lyles. He's somebody that can realistically challenge Lyles. Actually, everybody on that list that I just covered can challenge Lyles. But when it comes to the experience and the accolades before him, when it comes to what he's done before, we can go down the honors list here. As far as that, back in Rio, look at his place. He is the Rio Olympic silver medalist. He is coming back as a silver medalist before from Rio. He also finished second behind Lyles in the World Championships. So with just those two things there, not even having to cover anything else there, he's right there with it. He knows how to get medals. He knows what to do when it comes to these international championship meets. So now that he's coming back into form, he's had a season there. He's had the break from COVID-19. Can we see him actually get the gold? And I think that the answer to that is, I don't know if he can actually get the gold. I don't doubt him. I give him about a 45 to 50% chance of getting a gold. I think that Aduduru has a higher chance of getting a gold than Grasse, to be honest, with both of them heading off. But if I were to give it, if I give my rankings list here, if you guys were to pressure me and say, hey, who do you think is actually going to get, who's actually going to get this out of these lists right here? I give Lyles as the favorite. I give him the favorite crown to get that. And a co-favorite is Aduduru. Those are the two athletes that I'm giving the co-favorite to, the advantage to Lyles. I got to side with Lyles here because he knows how to win. He shows up at these Diamond League races. He knows how to go out there and win. It kind of reminds me of, hey, Michael Johnson ran a whole bunch of races. He was nearly undefeated for a decade in the 200. And I don't think people appreciate that because he was running races and races and races and races. And then he was undefeated for, I think, over a decade. I think 11 years, is it, in the 400-meter dash. Now, I'm not saying that Noah Lyles is a Michael Johnson or anything. At this point, it's a little bit early for me to crown him with anything. I mean, Michael Johnson had a level of dominance that many athletes don't have. But Noah Lyles out here winning virtually all of his races in the 200, that is. I don't count the prelims or the semis because most athletes would not count that. Like, oh, you're going to count him losing the night in that? That's a prelim and semi. Now, if he didn't make it out of it, then that would be a different story. Him making it there could have just been like, I don't really care. Now that he revealed to us, oh, he was giving pressure to himself, that means he was actually trying to win and he didn't. But still, prelims, semis, that doesn't matter because Bolt has lost in prelims and semis. And then what do we know him as? The greatest sprinter of all time because he knows how to get that gold on that list, okay? So Lyles, I give him the slight advantage to favorite. Aduduru, I think he's a person to beat as well. Then when I come down to the list of who else can get that potential gold, Benerick, definitely, and Grasse. When it comes to Knighton, he's really the dark horse to me right here because as a youth, I wonder how consistently he could keep hitting his fast times. That's what I'm just wondering right now. Myself, I'm just wondering, can he hit those fast times again at this championship? I know whoever's coaching him and everything, they're getting them together and getting them ready. But can he, as a youth, do that again at this extended season now? That's going to be the question mark here. He's a dark horse. When it comes to the medal count, just medals in general, Lyles, Aduduru, they're all in the medal count, right? They're in the medal count. Grasse, Benerick, Fambule can get a medal here. I think he has a chance of getting a medal. It's going to be upset because there's 6 guys here on this list that I think all have a chance of getting a medal, and 2 guys with a stronger favorite, and 4 that I think can get the gold. The 4 that I think can get the gold, not Lyles, Benerick, Aduduru, and Grasse. Those 4, I think solidly have a chance to get the gold, where I said Lyles and Aduduru have the upper hand here. Benerick, he's there. He is a focused guy. I swear, he is a focused guy. He even said he still needs to work on some things, but he's very focused, especially when he's running. You don't really see the strain too much on his face. Even when he was going against Grasse, he just stayed focused. He didn't let himself get his eye off the prize, which was the line or anything like that. Some athletes look around a lot, and Usain Bolt's one of those guys. That's my thoughts on here. Normally I go to a different topic, but today I am not. I've talked enough. What do you guys think? Let me know your comments. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to turn on all notifications because some of you guys have been going for first, and Benito has been beating the bricks off of your butts right there for that. But yeah, here we go. Let me know your thoughts. I will catch you all on the next video. And yeah,